Hey you guys, welcome to the reading today. And so this is going to be a bonus video for the Zeus series that I'm doing currently. If you have not watched part 1 and part 2, make sure to check those out. I'm going to link them up top in the right hand corner, and I'm also going to put them down in the description box, but I believe they're filed under the entertainment playlist. But anyways, you should be able to find it pretty quickly, so I'm just going to go ahead and link those so you can check them out if you haven't already. So this video is going to be specifically on Janiesha John, who is one of the executive producers, as well as the ex-wife of the CEO. So I'm going to be doing this reading specifically focused on her. So this will just be a bonus. I do have a final part coming, which will be the fate of Zeus Network, some predictions. And then I do have a couple of requests that I did see from my viewers for Biggie, I believe. But I do have a plan to do a video for multiple people in the Baddies franchise. I'm going to be picking names at random to do that. So be on the lookout for that video pretty soon. And then I'm also planning to do a Natalie Scotty energetic reading here shortly as well. So I'll do a bonus video on that. At some point, I'm going to kind of pivot away from doing a lot of Zeus readings just because honestly, y'all, when I asked Spirit about reading them just in general, I kept getting the Five of Wands card. And for that card, you guys know that's literally physical fighting. And so Spirit told me to do the readings as planned, but not to overextend it. Even for Janiesha, I've actually been planning to do her for weeks, but every time I divine on her energy and whether or not I should read on her, I continue to pull the devil card for her. So that's why I've been putting it off for weeks and why there's a huge gap between part 2 and the bonus part, just because I just didn't feel comfortable reading on her, but I'm okay now. And I'm going to just go ahead and go for it so we can get it out the way. As always, let me know your feedback down below. I know right now, today is February 18th at the time of this reading, and there's a lot of drama online between everyone involved in the situation, between the baddies, drama between Janiesha and Scotty, like subbing each other on social media and Instagram. And this is after the Love Cabin reunion where Ray J asked Janiesha about her and Lemmy, and then she was like, "Oh, he got a baby on the way." So this is around this time, and now Natalie is like blowing the whistle on Zeus and shading Scotty about her baby shower, calling it a funeral. Like, it's really dark, y'all. So I just want to give you guys some context as to what time point I'm reading this energy. So like I said, today's going to be just focused on Janiesha John and just tapping into her energy as it relates to the Zeus network. And I'm not going to say too much because there are some things I do want to say, but I want to get into the cards first. So as always with my readings, everything said today is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. I'm going to start from her current energy, and then I do have a couple of questions about, how does she feel about Scotty and Lemuel? What is her role at Zeus Network? We're really going to get really deep here. All right, so let's see what her current energy is as of today with everything that's happening on social media and just how is she feeling in general about everything happening with Zeus, and just see what's going on with her. Before I get further into the cards, this boss card reminded me that when I watched her on the reunion of Jocelyn Cabaret that they had for this most recent season, I heard Puppet Master. So it's interesting that I got this boss card. And I don't know the level of involvement that she has as EP, but I suspect that she has quite a bit of, I just heard leverage there. And then at the bottom, we have relationship. So first things first, like I said, it feels like she does have a very significant role. And I heard stake, so she may have a high stake invested into the Zeus network overall. And then for the concern and conflict, immediately I was getting more so with everything going on publicly for Zeus. I'm hearing, let me slow down. I'm hearing bad PR. So I think even for her, she knows that this is something that she herself does not want to get her hand in because it's just not a good look, it feels like. And I feel like she takes this role very seriously. It feels like even more so than the rest of everybody involved. I wouldn't say she's like the most sane out of the group. That's not what I'm saying. It's more so she's the one that's looking at this from more of a business perspective, it feels like. But then the conflict card is giving me, because I heard inner conflict about it. So it's almost like she has some things that she definitely wants to say, but it doesn't feel like she's that type of person. I heard classy, so she doesn't feel like she needs to go that low to even expose any of that. But that's not to say she won't, but we'll see. But for now, it feels like for her, she wants to take the classy approach and just kind of let it just die out. But it feels like, at least currently today, she doesn't really want to address it because she's just worried about the backlash as a result of the bad PR. But it feels like it's more so for her versus the network involved because it's baddies and Zeus Network. Like, that's what they're known for fighting, right? I mean, or, drama essentially. But she herself does not want to get her hand in the cookie jar or caught in the cookie jar because she is a stakeholder in the network itself or her franchise. The reason why it took me so long to read on her, and if you've watched the video, I can't remember if it came up in the first or in part 1 or part 2, but I remember the W word coming up for both her and Lemmy, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. they both give me witch and warlock energy. Like they, every time I read on them, I get that energy on like from them. And giving you just my opinion, it just feels like she's very spiritually tapped in, and but they have very heavy spiritual energy on both of them. I feel like for her it's more of like a lineage type of deal. For him, I told y'all he gives me Diddy energy, so take with that what you will. But they both do. And as soon as I saw the Starseed card, I thought about that as well as a protection. So for me, it's giving more so of she's very just tapped in spiritually. And that's also a reason why I took my time with this reading as well. Some energies, I just want to make sure that spirits are okay with me reading on certain people. But for her, I can just tell that she's very protected. And I feel like she also, just her ritual. So yeah, it's like she's very spiritual. I heard psychic. Let's clarify this hello card. And then look, we have divination, poverty, and then we have achievement at the bottom. Before I pulled these two cards, and as I was mentioning, I said I was getting a lot of messages. I was hearing like, did she do some work to get Zeus to where it is now? Like, did she do some specific work around Zeus? Because that's what it's feeling like to me. Like, even at the onset, or maybe in the earlier days of Zeus, I feel like she has some spiritual stuff even intertwined there. And I mean, the network is literally called Zeus after a Greek god. Say that to say earlier in the early days of Zeus, when her and Lemmy were together, when they first got together, even maybe before, does she have like humble beginnings? Because it's poverty to me is giving almost like started from the bottom, now we here type of energy. And divination to me is just telling me that, like I said, it feels like she is psychic. So she may have been doing some work or some divination on just getting to where she is today, allegedly. Because I mean, we got the achievement at the bottom. It helped her get to her goals today. I don't want to say like anything she's worked on, or I don't know her personal business, but I just heard anything that has to do with her, it will always be spiritual, allegedly. Anything you see her working toward or pursuing, she may incorporate her spirituality in that. Immediately pulling those cards, it feels like at the beginning of her and Lemmy's relationship, he was very sweet to her, romantic offers. This love offering is giving me like Knight of Cups type of energy, very sweet with his words. I can see us running off into the sunset in love and married, having a family. Like that's what it feels like. At least that's how it feels in the beginning. But then we have karmic here, which makes me think that this was a karmic situation for her specifically. I don't know about him just yet, but for her, it feels like it was karmic to a degree. And because even now she's dealing with it, and they've been separated for a very long time. They don't even claim each other really anymore. So it's really weird. I guess from this deck, I want to see, how does she feel about Lemuel now? Currently, how does she feel about him from the Oracle cards? How does she perceive him? And then again at the bottom, relationship. So immediately when I pulled the travel card, I heard the T word, like somebody is sitting in traffic. It's almost like she knows what he does behind closed doors, allegedly. I feel like she's very well aware of that. But I'm also getting that she still loves him. It doesn't give me like in love, but it just gives me like I still have love for him. And then when I pulled the divine masculine card, I'm still getting they have like still a decent type of working relationship. I don't feel like there's any conflict. At least in this current energy, it's still a business relationship, but if Scotty did not get pregnant and Lemuel left her alone, like left Scotty alone, would she be with him after all of this? Yes. But then I asked, okay, well, if he were to leave Scotty and have this baby, would she go back to him if she had the chance? And I heard maybe, with a hint of no. So yeah, if there wasn't pregnancy involved, she would probably more than likely still be with him. And then as soon as I said that, Spirit was giving me like flashes of other women in the Baddies franchise that have been accused of sleeping with their boss allegedly. So yeah, it's like she knows. I feel like all of them know how he gets down. It's no secret. So all right, well then, how does she feel about the baby and Scotty? How does she feel about that part? I heard hates it, or like I hate it. Yep, told y'all I hate it. I heard divorce and unbothered. Okay. Yeah, she did not like it. I mean, this entire situation. You see somebody crying here. As I said, I just heard like as I was shuffling, I hate it immediately. And yeah, closed. It's ended. It's over. And as soon as I pull legal courthouse, it's like we're gonna get divorced. We're gonna get this done. I heard separated, and I feel like that's probably what was the primary reason for them ending it the way that they did. The manifestation part, I'm not sure about that, and I want to clarify that real quick. Clarify the manifestation. I don't even think I need to pull on that because I just heard she manifested it. So whether or not she believed that she had any involvement in it, because she knew of his dealings with all of these women and she stuck around with him, it's almost like what did she think was going to happen? And so this pregnancy, yes, it was unplanned because she let it go on, or as it was almost like it was bound to happen. And so she manifested it because she let her man go out here in the streets and she didn't fight it, not fight it hard enough. She stuck with them. So, and it just manifested itself. Got a download about the manifestation card. If you guys remember in the part 2 reading I did on Lemmy and Scotty, I said allegedly that it feels like it's something that he himself wished and hoped for to get her pregnant, because it felt like even in that reading that he had his pick of the litter. I think I said that even in that reading, he decided to go with more so with her. And it was something of a wish fulfillment. And look at the card. It's a man literally praying for something to happen, for his wish to manifest, allegedly. Okay, so what is the energy between her and Zeus network overall? What is the energy between her and Zeus network overall? I heard that's my baby. I worked hard for this. I also heard she invested a lot of money into it. Yeah, this is still giving me like manifestation, magician, tarot card energy. The obsession to me is giving more so, again, this is my baby. I worked hard for this. I'm going to put my energy into this. It's an investment. The single and sexy card is giving me how she is in the organization, at least from an EP perspective, right? Which I feel like that's how we've always seen her. It's not like her and the CEO were always really they showed a lot of PDA even when they were together. And I always thought she was single, to be honest, until I learned somehow, some way that they were married. I was surprised. They don't act like it at all. The imprisonment, I'm getting that she's not as shackled down to the organization. Like they don't have as many restrictions on her just because she has such a pivotal role in the organization. And I'm curious to know how much investment she really does have into it because it's reversed. And so I just heard she's not as shackled down like everyone else is. And that's literally what I heard for that card. Earth Angel, let's check on that one. Let's check the Earth Angel. Clarify. So we have Child and then we have Awakening. Remember when I said that her spirituality is tied into whatever she does, whatever endeavor she pursues? Again, this is my baby. This Zeus is my baby. And because we have the child here, her spirituality, her spirit team is literally has probably helped her get Zeus to where it is today. And I feel like that's also why I keep getting these downloads about her and her ex-husband allegedly being the W word for both of them. How does she feel about the other women that have been accused of messing with him while she was with him? How does she feel about the other women that were accused of messing with him while she was still married to him? So that could be allegedly, I'm going to name some names, but these are alleged but not proven true. Anna Madge, Mariah Lynn. I saw even some rumors about her, about him and Lex. Like, how does she feel about these rumors? For the house, I heard something like they're not about to crumble what I built up. Remember that imprisonment card came out and it was reversed, saying that she's not as shackled to the organization as everyone else is. But then when I asked about the other women that he has been allegedly involved in, the women that he's involved with, they're bonded. They are literally the imprisoned. Where she's reversed, they are not. It's literally somebody tied up and crying because they're in bondage to Zeus allegedly. Spirit just gave me something. I don't even know if I want to say it on camera. I'll say this. Energetically, it's almost like not only contractual wise, but allegedly spiritually bondaged as well. Allegedly. I'm seeing like jars and candles, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Clarify this change in self-love card. Achievement, yeah, she loves herself. I can tell that she has a very high self-esteem, at least is what it's feeling like. She knows what she's capable of. She's a very savvy businesswoman, very classy, gotten what she feels she deserves, and she's met her goals. But y'all, she definitely feels like somebody that you literally do not want to get on her bad side. Like I just heard Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If you screwed her over and allegedly slept with her man while she was with him, y'all may be in a jar too, allegedly. I definitely get like there's definitely a flip side to her. I'm going to reiterate, anything that she does is tied to her spirituality. All right, so I'm going to move on. What's challenging her at Zeus? Everything. Oh, yep. Losing everything. What else? Evil eye. That's interesting. Oh yeah, and then we did see the protection earlier as well. So she could also just have evil eye in general from the girls. Gift, ritual. I just heard allegedly witch wars. And then at the bottom I see abuse. Yeah, I'm honest, I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I'm like literally hesitant to even put this on YouTube. If she is like doing anything, allegedly, anything malicious towards Scotty, because she is pregnant, it don't have to be a ritual. It could just even just be her having negative thoughts or wishing ill will. I don't know this lady. But all I'm saying is that she needs to be very mindful of how she goes about that. Because Scotty is in such a vulnerable state as a pregnant woman and very close to the Most High. She's about to bring birth into this world. She needs to be very mindful of how she talks about her, looks at her, treats her as well, because she could definitely get spiritual judgment for that because she is pregnant. It's just something about the baby's energy. Here, let's find out which wars. Which wars with who? All right, I said which wars with who, and then I have healer, and then I have bliss. And then if you look, it's a woman here, but then look at his hands. He does have like magical orbs coming up out of them. So yeah, there's a spiritual battle going on here. And again, relationship at the bottom. To be honest, at this point, not even like Scotty and her baby, she needs to leave alone. It's almost like she needs to be very mindful of just even doing any type of, I just heard reversal, any type of baneful work involving anybody involved in Zeus, because it's almost like, I just heard vortex. So it's like a spiritual vortex where everything could literally just be sucked in. Even her. There's just a lot of spiritual energy just around everybody there. Because I told y'all when I divinated on just reading on Zeus and how I should go about it and the baddies. I just kept getting Five of Wands and like fighting chaotic type of energy. So she could literally just be sucked in just by involving herself in the drama. And this is her baby. So if Zeus goes down, she goes down too. It feels almost like something is going to collapse. Hopes and fears for her for Zeus. Well, for one, she does not want her money affected by the veil lifting off of Zeus. She also does not want some truths to be revealed from Zeus. And if you remember from part one, I mentioned that there are a lot of women that have come forward or want to come forward talking out about Zeus, which has happened because that reading was back in, I think I did the video like late December and I put it up in January. But yeah, she does not want the veil lifted up off of Zeus. She wants to keep it how it is so that they can keep up appearances. We have the sweetheart card here. Everything looks nice and sweet. She doesn't want the money to run out and be affected by the veil lifting. And then we have at the bottom, look, entity attachment. I told y'all there's just a lot of spiritual activity in this. And so it's just she does not want things to be revealed to the public. Not only, of course, not the spiritual side. Not everybody is really going to catch that. But as far as the comings and goings and the drama and the secrets that are involved in this network, she does not want them revealed, obviously, because it will affect her money. But they have to keep up this image. We're just, we have our drama, but we don't have anything else going on. We're just a clean cut network just trying to make money. But it's much deeper than that, y'all. It's much deeper than that. Yeah, I'm going to just do the future card and then I'm just going to run all this back on the tarot. So future prediction for Janiesha, John, and Zeus. What is the future prediction for her as Zeus? Well, I wanted to clarify the mentally unstable card because I'm like, who is this? Look what I got. We got Voodoo, we got Mature Man, and then we have Love Spill. We have a bunch of cards already out. So we have Priestess through the Ancestors, which came out, and then these clarifiers here for the future for her as Zeus. The commitment, allegedly, it feels like she may get into a relationship with somebody older via a love spell, allegedly. Because this is future reading for her as Zeus. So, I mean, it could be somebody affiliated with Zeus, but it could be, but it just feels like it's somebody that has money, somebody very well established. I can't see her being with just anybody, but whoever she gets with is going to be somebody very well established and try to get into a committed relationship. And I just heard the word rebound. So yeah, this is going to be somebody that's not her ex. This is going to be somebody totally new. If they're not already talking now, she's going to be working with her ancestors to get all of this stuff situated. But there's going to be some magical workings here to get her and this man together for this commitment. This has literally spell work written all over this. The mentally unstable to me is very interesting because, like I said, she gives me Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Her root work. She's going to be doing her work. Then I also heard by any means necessary. I'm going to clarify that in the tarot, but can you confirm and clarify about whom she's going to try to get into a relationship with? Is there anything else you can share about that? This commitment? Y'all, and then look, the future, I had Ice King, and then now we have Ice Queen, and then look at the corner of the 16 card here. She's thinking about love. I'm sorry, y'all. It's so shady. I heard a match made in hell. Let's clarify that statement. Why match made in hell? What is giving that? Why is that? And we have relationship trouble and then trusted. The same problems won't go away. So whoever this next person will be, it's probably going to be a cycle for her. Allegedly, Lemuel was karmic energy for her. It's almost like the same karmic energy as well. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be to the degree of what he has done, but it's almost like she's going to be putting up with the same antics from another person. Like nothing has changed in that regard. So that's what it feels like to me for her. But expect a new boo. But we'll see what the tarot has to say. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off the table, and then we're going to start from the top. Current energy for Janiesha. Current energy for Janiesha. So we have Seven of Swords, we have Ten of Swords, and then we have King of Wands. And then at the bottom, we have Three of Pentacles. Yeah, her current energy is like she's still feeling this betrayal by this fire sign. All these underhanded things that he's done to her, how he's betrayed her. He keeps stabbing her in the back. And we have King of Wands, which is her ex-husband because he is an Aries. So yeah, but they still have to work together. Three of Pentacles at the bottom. Like she's still having to work through the betrayal. Like I said, with the oracles, it doesn't feel like it's too bad of a business relationship between the two because they have to continue it on regardless. But she's still working through the betrayal. That's not something you can just wash away overnight, but it's still something that hurts. You see the CEO of the company that you helped start move on with an entirely different person and is now having a baby on the way. You have had no children with him. Not that that makes any difference, but he's about to have a whole entire family. I don't know. It's really sad at the end of the day, but at the same time, you were putting up with it for years for multiple women. And I'm not saying that's an excuse, but literally, what did you think was going to happen? So that's my personal opinion. But so that's her current energy. I think we kind of have the gist of that from the oracle. So I'm going to ask now, how does she feel about Scotty? And then I'll ask about the baby. How does she feel? So we have Five of Pentacles, and then we have Page of Swords. It's like I'm watching all my money and hard work go to this new girl. That's what I heard for Five of Pentacles. Like I know the card means poverty, but it's like her money going down the drain. At least that's how she's perceiving the situation, and that's how she's perceiving Scotty. Yeah, just her sugar daddy. So It feels like initially she was thinking, or I mean, it feels like she just was considering them like sugar baby, sugar daddy, and just watching your money be spent on other women, allegedly. We have Seven of Pentacles, then we have Seven of Wands, and then we have Two of Swords. Yeah, she's very deep in her emotions about this. We have King of Cups reversed. It feels like they may have even, her and Lemmy may have even had disagreements about the investments with this network, as well as Scotty and the money he's been spending on women. I feel like she has said something to him about that, and may even have told him to like cut it off as far as spending as much money as he has on them. Because I just heard joint account, so maybe they had a joint account in the past when they were still married. I just heard royalties too, so I don't know how that works, but yeah, she's literally watching her investments go down to another woman. It still feels like, and it just feels like she has said something to him to cut it off. Clearly, he hasn't, but I just heard it hurt me so deeply. I'm seeing like yachts and trips, and like he didn't spend all this money taking her on trips, going places, spending all this money, and also just her. He didn't do all that for me. So how does she feel about the pregnancy then? How does she feel about the pregnancy? Yeah, it definitely hurt her emotionally. Pentacles. Yeah, this truth definitely hurt her emotionally once it came out about the pregnancy. I don't think this is something that she just is even still over if it doesn't feel like that. It's still, I just heard embarrassment. For her, it was embarrassing that this news came out about them. It was one thing when her ex got with Scotty and they were parading around talking about they were in a relationship. That's one thing. I feel like she didn't even really take it that serious, but once she actually got pregnant, that definitely sealed the deal. The truth came out, and ooh, that was a lot for her. I heard gut punch. Anything else about the baby? And then we have Six of Wands. I just heard she won. So she could be perceiving this as this is what wanted to trap my man. You wanted to get pregnant. But like I said in part two, if y'all watched that, I said it did not feel like that on her end. It feels like she won. I literally heard just she won. So she could be perceiving this entire pregnancy as that this is something that she tried to trap him with. That's how we got here. She wanted this baby. She got the relationship. Now she has a baby. What else does she want? And then at the bottom we have Four of Wands. She took my family and started a family. But I'm going to tap out of that question just because it's related to children and I do not like reading on their energy too much. So I'm going to move on. So how does she view Lemuel now that everything has happened? King of Cups reversed. How does she feel about Lemuel now? I just heard everything you said was a lie. Waiting to exhale with Angela Bassett when she burned the closet and all those things. That's the energy that this entire spread is giving me. You spent all these years, all this time getting to this point in y'all's relationship. You guys have invested in it. You've been together for years, and then all of it to go down the drain because of you can't control yourself. This Ace of Wands. He was out here just giving it to everybody, allegedly. It just feels like she herself feels like she was a sacrifice in all of this because we have Hangman. And I immediately heard sacrifice. Yeah, it's almost like I put in all this energy and effort to help build you up for you to go be with somebody else. And she has overcome a lot even with him. Nine of Wands. Yeah, I just feel like she even overcame just even when they were just in a relationship before Zeus. Like I said, I don't know her history as far as how her beginnings or when they got together. I don't know the details about that, but it feels like she's been through a lot with him even before all of this. That is her drama. How does she feel about Zeus Network as a whole? How does she feel about the organization? The Fool, Four of Wands. This is something I built. This is something I took a leap of faith on. We have Ten of Pentacles here. I built it. I built a family, a network family, as well as I had my man. That was my family. We were going to build generational wealth off of Zeus. I just keep going back to that House Oracle card that I pulled a moment ago. I just keep hearing like this is something I literally built. That's something I invested in. And then if you look at the Ten of Pentacles, they're in a home, a mansion, something she built. Okay, I'm going to take a step back because I said I was going to ask, but how does she feel about the other women that were accused of sleeping with her ex-husband? How does she feel about those alleged other women that were sleeping with her ex-husband when they were still together? Whoa, I had a bunch of cards pop out. I just heard that's part of the business. We have Ace of Pentacles and we have Temperance. I'm channeling like they were just there. They just want the money. They just see the money. They just want the coin out of my husband or my man, whatever they were. It just feels like even with this Temperance card, she was just more focused on Zeus, the new beginning, working on new opportunities there. They're just making money, bringing things to fruition, as well as her doing some ritual work, allegedly. Because look at the picture. Somebody, didn't I say I saw jars and candles and things in the oracle portion of this reading? So yeah, it just feels like they just want my man for his money. I'm still gonna be pouring into this business and this network, but I'm also still gonna be doing my rituals on the side, whatever that entails. But I know he's out here doing what he wants to do, Knight of Wands, out here spreading his seed and his love, allegedly. It just feels more of blaming the women versus blaming her man to me. That's what it feels like to me. That's probably was also prompting her to do a lot of the spiritual work instead of actually addressing the issue at hand. But who knows? It's really touchy. All right. So what is challenging her concerning Zeus and all the drama? So what's currently challenging her? Yeah, we have Nine of Pentacles for the clarifier for King of Swords. So King of Swords to me is giving that she's worried that because she's no longer in a relationship with the CEO, it's almost giving like she's worried about her being cut off from certain things now that they're not together and he's focused on his baby and his girlfriend. Like she's worried about being cut off from certain conversations, and I'm just feeling like even cut off from certain money. We have Six of Pentacles here, which is like exchanging as well. So it's almost like she feels like even she is noticing he's putting in more money and giving more money to, okay, I heard Scotty. I thought I heard the women, but I heard Scotty, allegedly. But it just feels like she's worried about being cut off. So their dynamic has changed in that regard, where they're having to figure out with their business relationship and how to communicate with one another. It's like he's more cutthroat with her, but it's like she just feels like she's going to be cut out of conversations and money going forward. Because I didn't know who the King of Swords was for. And then I'm Knight of Pentacles, which is independent woman, which will be her in this case. Moving forward, the Chariot, full steam ahead now. Clarify the Chariot. And then Page of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, she's worried about her money slowing down. She's worried about being cut off. We'll see what this is going to look like for her future predictions. But this is just what's challenging her. This isn't confirmed, but this is just what she's worried about when it comes to her ex and the network just in general. So let's get into the hopes and fears for her. So what is her hope and her fear in this situation? Hopes and fears. And Knight of Swords. Two of Wands. Because remember in the Oracle cards, I said that hopes and fears, we had the veil. I think it was the hopes and fears or challenges. I can't remember, but it was that veil card. And I said she's worried about the veil being lifted up off of Zeus and scandals and information and things. She doesn't want people to know the truth about the networks and the comings and goings and things like that. This is showing up in her hopes and fears as well, because we have Two of Wands and then we have Knight of Swords. And then at the bottom, I have Nine of Swords, which is somebody with anxiety and worry. So this is something that she's worried about, these messages and these things that are being said about Zeus when it comes to like the drama. I'm sure you guys have seen online, the subbing and everything I talked about at the beginning of the video. But she's worried about the impact that bad PR is going to have on them as an organization and the opportunities that they have in the future. I don't know why, but Spirit just called them an enterprise. I don't know why, but Two of Wands, yeah, just looking forward to the future. She's just worried about everything that's coming out now, how it will impact them from a business perspective. As always, we have the moon here at the back of here, so secrets coming out, being revealed. I don't know what else they could be harboring over there, but it's almost like there's just some things that she literally does not want to get out to social media or just the public in general about Zeus, allegedly. Let's get some clarification on why that is her fear, because this has come up twice. So why is that her fear? Well, we have High Priestess. Secrets. Ooh, they have some very big secrets. Very, very big secrets. I just heard whistleblower. High Priestess is literally the veil. So she does not want anything, nothing to come out about Zeus. Because whatever the secret is, it feels like the secret that she's worried about being unveiled about Zeus, just in general, even about her ex, we haven't even scratched the surface. Like, we're seeing all the drama and the subs and the posts from different people with the network. We haven't even scratched what she's really afraid of coming out, allegedly. I just heard that T word again. But it feels like a very big veil is over what's really going on over there. It's not even showing me like other women. It's not even showing me like fights, or it's just literally a big secret over there that's in her hopes and fears. So, so what is the future of Zeus with her? What is the future of Janiesha John as Zeus? What is her future? It is. All right, had to move the cards so I can channel a little bit better. All right, so Five of Swords, we have Four of Swords, and then we have Seven of Cups. So I'll say this, everything that's being said online or things that potentially could come out, disagreements, fights, miscommunications that we're seeing on social media, it feels like she's trying to go ahead and get all of that corrected now. Trying to make sure that nobody's going to say anything. It feels like we're going to put you on hush mode. I feel like I heard damage control. But she's trying to get everyone to just do what we hired you to do. Don't do any extra. I'm getting the visual of Summer from Baddies, so I don't know what she's trying to say or will say in the future or threatening to say. I just literally saw her face. Okay, I'll finish what I'm saying now, but then I'll tell you guys what I got the download about. But first, laying it all to rest, and then we have the Seven of Cups here, which is telling me that she's going to try to put this wool over the eyes of the public to try to get everyone not hearing what could be said in the future, these secrets. I heard distraction. So trying to put rose-tinted glasses on the public, essentially, and go back to what we were seeing from Zeus and the Baddies Network, the fighting. All of that's going to be a distraction. I feel like they're going to probably amp it up a little bit so that people won't question some things that might come out about them, allegedly. But back to Summer, as I was visualizing her, because I didn't know why she was coming up, because I just wasn't sure if she was like blowing the whistle on this. But I heard the word sacrifice. Well, I don't know why Spirit be putting this on me to tell y'all about sacrifices, but yeah, I literally heard the word sacrifice. So Spirit said a warning for her. So yeah, a warning for Summer. She needs to be very careful about what she's doing and saying as Zeus, because we have literally seen people go to auditions and come up missing. People have passed away allegedly from weird circumstances. So yeah, I would say for her, because literally Spirit said warn Summer. So I don't know if she's ever going to watch this or hear about this, but if you are watching this girl or somebody that knows her, tread lightly with this, because they are still the industry. Do not forget that they are still the industry. So, and I just heard Lemuel, so I don't know what his involvement with that is. Back to the future for Janiesha, and then we have the world at the bottom trying to close this cycle. So yeah, she's definitely going to try to do some damage control on that side, get them back to what they were hired to do, not putting all this extra stuff on the internet. I feel like they're going to try to take that offline and deal with it accordingly. But they're going to try to put, like I said, rose tinted glasses on the public so that we're just like, all right, it's Zeus. We don't need to be worried about what they got going on. We're used to it. But yeah, I would say Summer. Like I'm all for speaking your piece, but there's just something that she knows or has been a part of, because I just saw Lex in my mind just now too. So don't be surprised if they try to do damage control. Like don't be surprised. It may not be like public damage control, but it would just be, we're going to make sure that you don't post about certain situations anymore or talk about it publicly. And I feel like that's also going to go for Natalie as well, because I know she's been saying some slick stuff too. So I'm going to end it here. I don't have anything else to ask about her. And honestly, as soon as I finished the part about Summer, I started getting a headache. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Like I mentioned before, I may do a Scotty versus Natalie reading, and then I'll do a pick a baddie type of card reading somehow, some way in the future, hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so. But let me know what y'all think down below. I appreciate you all watching. I appreciate your support. And I appreciate you guys also being patient as I work through this series, just because there's a lot of energy on Zeus as a whole. This has actually been my most challenging readings to do just in general as a reader, just because of everything they got going on. So I'm going to push through though. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video and when I upload some more parts. But thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.